All right, the bitter birds are busting out the trade machine today. Can't wait. This is going to be a fun show. We're making up some trade scenarios, some realistic options that the Sixers might pursue. Kyle Gaffner is here. I'm Adrian Fenke. Can't wait to get started on this one, man. I've been looking forward to this.
I've been looking forward to it too. It's always fun to throw around these ideas, what we think. We have a chance to play the GMs for once. What we think is best for the team to do. So and the people out there as well.
Yeah, and the thing about this is we tried to be as realistic as possible, because there are some prospects out there that guys that we would want and love and love to bring in here, but realistically speaking, we're really not going to get a Zach LaVine because the Wolves are probably most likely going to keep him, per se. And so that's kind of where I'm getting at with this. This is going to be realistic shit. I don't have Okafor in any of my mock trades.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's surprising. I mean, he's one of the biggest trade chips.
Yeah, I got Noel and I got other stuff. See, for me, I kind of still want to wait. So, but all right. So you want to get started? You want me to go first? You want to go first?
Of course, man. You go, bro. It's your show. You go for it.
All right. Well, I'll start with a small one. All right. So I got Richaun Holmes in a couple deals because obviously we're loaded in the front court. And I want some kind of guards, kind of take some flyers on some guys. So, guy on the Wolves, obviously we would want Chris Dunn and Ricky Rubio and Zach LaVine, but I'm targeting the MVP of the Summer League. I'm targeting Tyus Jones. So I got a package of Richaun Holmes, T.J. McConnell, and a future second for Mr. Jones out of Duke. So you bring him back to play with Jahlil Okafor. And obviously Minnesota, he's expendable. You got 2 point guards already. So that's the little mock scenario I made up. That's my first trade.
And I like that too. I always thought when we drafted Jahlil Okafor and Tyus was still there, late first round, we had those couple picks last year, or even the second round, we'd take a flyer on them, but we never did. Just that poetry and motion they had at Duke was unbelievable. And I think they played together in high school too. They made sure that they wanted to play in high school together, and then college they committed both to Duke. I would like to get him on this trade. I don't think it would take that much to get him either.
Yeah, I don't either. So that sort of package, I mean, McConnell, who the fuck cares about him? Future second, okay, that's just a second-round pick. And Richaun Holmes is, a guy that's kind of blossoming a little bit. He looked good in the Summer League, but he's obviously expendable because we're loaded in the front court. So I would love to bring Tyus Jones in here. This obviously still doesn't stop you from drafting a point guard next year in the draft. So Tyus Jones, I mean, just see what you got in him, take a flyer on him, and if you have something, keep him around. He can come off the bench. Maybe he's even your starter. Who the hell knows? But Tyus Jones is definitely a name that I would be interested in.
I like that. I have, for my first trade, I've got 2 scenarios with this team. I'll give you my first one. It's with the Phoenix Suns.
Okay.
I got Okafor, Sauce, and a second rounder for Brandon Knight. A really big fan of Brandon Knight. He's still young, but he's not young enough to where he's got a little bit NBA experience. He's got range. He's smart. He can play the 1 or the 2. I would love to have him on this team.
Wow, so you're giving up even more than just Okafor, because I think you could get Brandon Knight straight up for Okafor.
I mean, Nick Stauskas is kind of just Nick Stauskas is kind of just a toss, and I don't really even consider him like anything. He's just kind of an add-on because you never know what you're going to get with him. So it's basically Okafor and a second-round pick, because I feel like they're not just going to give Brandon Knight away.
That's interesting because I had a trade scenario for Brandon Knight, and it was Noel and Stauskas for Brandon Knight. So that's a little crazy to think about, because for me it's like I think the Suns, they need a 5, and you got some guards. You got Devin Booker, your shooting guard. You got your point guard in Eric Bledsoe. So I think maybe Brandon Knight. Not that you'd be able to pry him away for little. I mean, obviously you would give up Noel, but if you can get him without having to give up Okafor, shit, that's the route I would go. Maybe I would have to trade maybe give him an extra second-round pick instead of just Noel and Stauskas. But, so that's interesting.
Yeah, I just figured just because they tried a good amount to get him, and like you said, they did draft Marquise Chris this year and Dragan Bender, but we talked before the show, they're both 4s. they need a 5. They need a solid 5. Either Okafor or Noel would fit nice in there. I think they'd have to give a little more just for Noel. If it was just Noel and Stockus, I think you'd have to give him maybe a couple picks to get him, because I think they really like him out there to go with Bledsoe.
Yeah, I like Brandon Knight too. See, for me, it'd be, they maybe want to play for the future with Devin Booker at the 2. So that's why Knight might be expendable. But I think you can straight up trade Okafor straight up for Brandon Knight. But the thing is I don't know if I'd want to do that. And that's funny because, like, you had a little bit more. So we disagreed just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. Now, let's see. I gave my son scenario, so I guess you can go next.
I had my second son scenario. I might as well just throw that out there, too. My other one was, if we don't do the Jahlil Okafor one, I would still like to keep Okafor, but Noel in a second for Bledsoe. I also like Bledsoe, too. Big fan. He's had a little bit of an injury history over his career, so I think we might be able to get a little less. Now, you were saying you think Booker's going to be their starting 2, which I agree with absolutely, but with the whole Brandon Knight thing, I don't know if they would be so eager to make him expendable because of Bledsoe's injury history. So Brandon Knight can play the 1 as well as the 2. So they can go back and forth with that. So it would be a little bit of an insurance policy, much like we have with Embiid and Okafor as well.
Yeah. The only difference really between Knight and Bledsoe, they're both solid players. Knight's just 2 years younger, and that's why I would want Brandon Knight as opposed to Eric Bledsoe.
I think he's got a little bit better shooting touch, a little bit more range than Bledsoe does. Bledsoe's got better slashing ability. Knight's a little bit of a bigger, lankier guy.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, so I like that mock trade too. I would consider that. I would think about that. I wouldn't want Jeff Teague for fucking Noel. I'll tell you that much.
No, I'm not doing that. We're keeping our defensive stud. If it was Jeff Teague maybe 3 years ago, and we got something else with Jeff Teague, Noel, maybe Jeff Teague and a first rounder, take that garbage off their hands. But no thanks.
Yeah, that was the thing with Jeff Teague for us was the age, and that's by the time that. Some of these young guys would blossom. Jeff Teague would be in his 30s, and fuck that. So, and Brandon Knight is only 24.
And making big money, too.
Yeah. All right, so I got a little trade, another little one. There's a kid at Indiana, plays for the Pacers, that I love. I love Joe Young. I love me some Joe Young. Joe Young can score from anywhere on the floor. So I got another little trade here to get Joe Young, kind of a sixth man, seventh man off the bench. He's not a starter, but Rashawn Holmes and a second rounder to Indiana for Mr. Joseph Young, former Pac-12 Player of the Year of the Oregon Ducks. I like me some Joe Young. I said it 3 times already. But
Big Joe Young, just like the movie, the Big Joe Young.
Yeah. So I want him.
So these scenarios are you're putting up Rashawn Holmes, so you're obviously thinking we're keeping Noel then.
No, I'm. Rashawn Holmes might be a promising kind of forward, and we don't need him at all. And not that we're going to keep Noel. It's my thing is, there's not really a lot of trade partners right now. At least I don't really think. So for me, I want to just kind of wait and just see what we have. Wait until the trade deadline. I just talked for 15 seconds when all I needed to say was wait till the trade deadline.
I know what you were building up to. I was waiting to see where you were going with that, but I knew where you were going with it.
Yeah, the draft isn't here anymore. So for me, it's at this point, I want to wait. So it's hard to really come up with a lot of mock trade scenarios because free agency is also done as well.
That's true. That is true. Did you have anything else to add on top of that, Mark?
Well, the only thing, because we're talking about the Pacers, this could have been a couple months ago. This isn't going to happen now because I was curious about Indiana. Indiana is a team that's kind of in limbo. Are they trying to rebuild or are they, trying to win now? But they've traded for Jeff Teague. They traded for Thaddeus Young. They signed Ty Lawson. So clearly they're trying to win now. And my mock trade scenario a couple months ago would have been Okafor and a first next year for Paul George.
Oh, man. That would be awesome if we were able to get PG-13.
Yeah. It might even take more than that.
I think it would. It would take a king's ransom to pry him away from there because you don't know what they are. 2 years ago, they were in the Eastern Conference Final competing with the Heat,
Yeah.
Thinking they're going to the finals every year, and he got hurt, and then they completely just went downhill. And after he got back, they never replenished it to help them and maintain that core group, and they all just scattered.
And Frank Vogel got fired, which I thought was stupid.
That was a dumb move. I think the brain trust there, Larry Bird, got very impatient. He was there for a couple years. They just kind of never got over that hump to get to the finals.
Yeah. So you got another trade scenario?
Of course. This is a little bit of a dark horse kind of out of nowhere. I would love to see this get done with the Charlotte Hornets. So I'm giving them Noel, Jeremy Grant, and TJ McConnell for Kemba Walker.
Yeah. I like that one. I like Kemba.
I love Kemba Walker, dude. Coming out of UConn, every game I watched him, when he put that team on his back as a 9 seed and led them all the way to the championship and won it, I knew there he was going to be a special player. And then even with Charlotte, look what he's done. They haven't built around him. So I think it's getting a little stagnant there too. It's where is they going to go? He's their piece. Maybe they can get a couple picks maybe to get him, or a couple other building blocks to build around, because they really don't have anything there. They got Nick Batum, but maybe they could still kind of build around him. But Kemba's getting up there a little bit. But I would love him to come over here. He could play the 1. He could even play the 2, even play off the ball. Yeah. He's an exciting player. He's a great slasher, great passer. Love to get this kid on the team.
Now, the only thing about that is I don't think Charlotte would do that, because I think Kemba's a guy that they kind of want to build a team around. So that's the only thing about that. But that's a guy I would thought, man, I'd bring him in here if he was available, if they wanted.
If we could access him, but I don't think MJ's doing that anytime soon.
Hey, MJ's pretty dumb though as a GM. Great player, bad GM.
It always doesn't translate.
No, not at all. Not at all. All right, let's look at my okay, so I gotta see, we talked about Boston last week about Jahlil Okafor and how I'm not crazy about it. You're not crazy about it. But if they want Noel, okay, I'll give them Noel. I'll do Noel for Avery Bradley and RJ Hunter. So I will do that. I think Avery Bradley is a perfect fit for what we want, what we need. A defender. He can shoot the 3. He's going to guard your opposing team's point guard. Obviously, this league right now, very point guard driven. So he's a guy that can really clamp down defensively, and he'll shoot, and he can run the break. He is a perfect fit for us, and I like him as a player.
I really like Avery Bradley too. He's awesome, and he fits what the building blocks that, or the tree of Greg Popovich, basically, that fits that bill that Budenholzer came from. That 3-and-D Spurs. You get guys that can defend, shoot the 3, like the Bruce Bowens of the world and such, the Michael Finleys, guys like that. And we need defenders out on the perimeter like that. And every year he's gotten better at shooting behind the 3 too. And he's still young. He's only 25 years old.
Yeah, dude, he's legit, man. He couldn't shoot when he came out of college. Comes to the NBA, took him a little while, but he can shoot the ball a little bit now, and he would be so perfect for what we want.
I would love to have him. Take him away from Boston too.
Yeah. All right, what you got next?
All right, here's another one that's going to be a surprise. The Denver Nuggets. So I'm going to give them Jahlil Okafor, Sauce, and a first rounder for Emmanuel Mudiay and Gary Harris. Oh,
wow. See, yeah. I'm not a Mudiay fan, but
really?
No, not really. He can't shoot the ball, but
you can. Come on, man. As you said, when we argued all throughout this time with Ben Simmons versus little KD.
I know, but I hate his form. I don't know. It's just like a little different to me.
You always work on the shot. If it goes in, doesn't matter how the release looks.
It's just I'm not a Mudiay guy. I've watched him. I'm just not that high on him. But I like Gary Harris. I think Gary Harris could be sneaky good.
Yeah, he's got the good shooting ability. He went to Michigan State, and they've come good lineage there. Great players have came out of there. Coached real well under Izzo, and I love Mudiay. I love the way he can dish the ball. He's a big body guy. Kind of reminds me a little of Westbrook when he was coming out. Can defend the ball real well, and is a very good passer. That's what Westbrook came out when he was coming out of UCLA. All he was a defender. That's all he was. And look what such a great player he's turned into.
I'm glad you said a little,
A little. I'm not saying the dude is Westbrook. A hint.
Let's not emphasize, that too much there.
No, absolutely not. I mean, that would be a dream scenario if we could do that. But to get Moutier and Harris, I would give him Okafor and a first-round pick for sure.
Wow. See, I wouldn't do that. But this is why we have a show. We don't always agree, and this is why we can spit shit out. Just talk it out. And but hey, I like it. I mean, shit, it's off the wall. It's a little different.
That's what I like to do, man. Off the wall and out there.
He's, he reminds me a little like if he can live up to his potential, he's got some John Wall in Moody.
I like that. That's a good comparison.
But like again, to go back to the little, he's got a little John Wall in.
A little him, a little Westbrook, maybe combined. Maybe he'll be a great point guard. He really has improved since last year too. He looked really good in the summer league this year. I know it's just summer league, but he's made strides, and he got coached by Larry Brown. A little bit before he got kicked out of there and went over to China.
Actually, he never played for SMU.
No, he never played, but he was going to, but he scouted him, Larry Brown, and I trust
Larry
Larry
I see what you mean. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah, because he was going to go to SMU, and then he went to he went to China.
He went for the money.
Yeah, and it's a shame because I wanted to see, dude, SMU would have been a great fucking team with Moutier on there, but didn't stay. Didn't stick around.
Chase that paper.
Yeah. So, all right. That's pretty much, it. Do you have any more, right? Because you had 3, and I think I had.
Yeah, I had 3. Did you have another one?
No, that was it. But, we could talk a little bit more about Zach LaVine right now because, I mean, shit, man. If we could get Zach LaVine straight up for Okafor, I would fucking do that. But realistically, it's hard to make these type of trades stars for stars. It's just, it's not easy for teams to get rid of guys like that, especially Zach LaVine. So I don't think Minnesota would do that.
Well, no, because, they have such a young core right now, and they want to keep him with the Wiggins and the KATs.
That's where I'm getting at. Yeah.
And the Chris Youngs. If we could possibly send Okafor or either Okafor or Noel out there to Portland and pull one of their guards, maybe a Damian Lillard, I doubt it. And same with CJ McCollum. I think he'd be a little bit more easier to pry, but he just signed that big contract, that extension. So they got a great young backcourt, but I don't see that happening either. But that could be a possibility. We'd really have to sweeten the pot to get those guys, though.
Yeah, after he signed that extension today, that's not happening. I thought about that. I thought about Okafor for McCollum and like a first-round pick or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought about that, but I mean, there's a reason why it's hard to make a trade in the NBA. It's hard to make trades. Teams, it's not easy to just pry stars away from them.
God, no, not at all. And everybody's always trying to get a leg up on people on the other team too.
Yeah. Yeah. So, man. I mean, I didn't have anything crazy. See, we should have done this show before the draft because I think that would have made it a little bit more crazier. Now it's just like I'm not looking to make a big impact, big splash. I kind of want to wait to make that splash instead of doing it now. It's not really worth doing it right now.
No, because it's so guard heavy next year for the draft, so we can kind of bide our time. It would just be nice to add another exciting piece to this young core to look forward to this season coming up. You get a little bit more excited, but it's so – I cannot wait for next year's draft class. It's so point guard heavy, dude. And they would flow so well with Ben Simmons on the ball, off the ball. But he's going to be our point guard, obviously, this year. It's going to be fun for him. Going to watch him grow, be fun to watch him, be an illustrator out there, make crazy dunks, pass out on the break. And I'd love to see him do it with all 3 of our guys, with Embiid, Noel, and Okafor. So let's just not just jump the gun as we talked about before, too.
Yeah, and to get back to, Brandon Knight, for instance, the reason why his name was brought up by us is because he's a guy that can play off the ball, too. And, with Simmons, if he's going to play that point forward, point guard, type of position, Knight is a perfect guy for you. Avery Bradley. That's why his name was brought up. So guys that can play the 1, the 2, but not necessarily need the ball in their hands.
Which is effective. And you're going to need to play somebody like that, much like when you see with LeBron James when they try to surround him in Miami with shooters when he's on and off the ball. Same thing like Ben Simmons. Hopefully he turns into what LeBron has and even better. That would be a dream come true, but time will tell with that one.
Yeah, and like Jared Bayless. We signed Jared Bayless. That's
another guy, 1-2.
Yeah, he can do both. He can play off the ball. He can play the ball in his hands too. So a lot, that's what their mindset is. I guess there's nothing else really to say. We went over everything.
I was going to say a lot of people wanted another Australian connection with Brett Brown for us to trade with the Jazz to get the
for Exum.
Yeah, to get Exum. I'm not a fan of Exum. I never really liked him. He's coming off an injury as well. I don't think he would work well with Ben Simmons, so I want that. They're very guard heavy too. I wish we would have went after Trey Burke when he was an option.
Oh, I like me some Trey Burke.
As for a second-round pick, why not? We have a slew of them for the next, 4 or 5 years to give up a second-round pick to get Trey Burke. Give him a shot. I like the way he worked off the ball. He can shoot a little bit.
Well, the thing about the Jazz is, I looked into that for Exum, but they have Favors and they have Rudy Gobert, so they're kind of set in the front court. Not that Okafor would be an upgrade, obviously, but it's not something that I would think they would do, or even Noel, for instance. Like, I think Gobert is better than Noel. So
it's like they're.
I love Gobert. I love him as a rim protector. I mean, shit.
He's awesome. He's one of the best out there. He's got great extension. He's got long arms. He's a great defender. It's like the poor man. It's like Noel's a poor man's Gobert, and I'm not going to say Favors and not Noel. Okafor have a lot of the same game too.
Yeah.
But I think he's got better post moves than obviously Okafor's got better post moves than Favors.
Yeah. Don't go Bear.
Yeah, don't do
it. Don't do it.
Or even trade for maybe I still like Gordon Hayward. I would love to trade for him. I wouldn't be giving up Okafor for him, but maybe Noel and maybe a Grant Rashard Holmes and maybe a second to get him. I really like him too. I like his game. He can shoot. He's not that great of a defender, but he can work on and off the ball too.
I mean, I love him, but I don't think the Jazz are going to get rid of him. It goes back to that again. Like, that's pretty much their face of the franchise right now.
Who knows what the Jazz are doing? He's been there for 6 years, and they haven't done anything with it.
Yeah. He's the only white American player that I like.
He's probably the only, other than Kevin. Well, I like Kevin Love, but
oh yeah, true, Kevin Love.
There's only 2 of them.
Yeah, T.J. McConnell tried to do the Gordon Hayward hair flip. Doesn't work as well for him.
Yeah, sorry. Get your own style, TJ. Go back to just shaving your head, bro.
He looks like such a fucking dork out there.
Yeah, he's improved though. I'll give him some. He's good energy off the bench.
All right, here's what I'll say about T.J. McConnell. I don't think he's like the worst point guard in the league, like some people say. Like, I liked him at Arizona. He's like got that kind of bulldog type of mentality. If you remember Aaron Kraft from Ohio State, they're very similar players. They can't shoot the ball, but they're smart. They can distribute. They're athletically deficient. But they're okay. They're third. They're like the third string point guard. Like, that's what they are, and there's nothing wrong with that.
He'll kind of blow you away because one play he'll make a great pass, and then another play down the road he will completely just botch it, dude. It's like, why can't you keep that consistently throughout the game? I just think he gets caught up in his head a lot of the times, and he'll try to make too much of a crazy pass or something like that. I think he'll get too much caught up in that, and then it blows up in his face.
Yeah. So, yeah, I got nothing else. Any final thoughts? Unless you got something else you want to talk about.
I got that. My final thought for the day is: have you seen that video of Embiid?
No. What?
Oh man,
what do we got?
Exciting stuff. Just the way he's moving out there. He was playing a little 5-on-5. I saw it was a workout, but he looks really healthy, and it's really positive and exciting to see.
So basically, you had to change your pants.
Yeah, pretty much. If he can relate that and they take the baby gloves off, look out for us, dude. It's going to be a battle, and I'm just fingers crossed because the dude looks incredible. Just the way he's moving, he looks healthy. He's been doing windmills again. Hopefully he doesn't hurt himself again. But the training videos just look exciting. It's a training video, but he looks healthy, so it's finally positive. Just make it to the season opener, please.
Hey, man, he's been still doing that windmill for the last couple years. How do you think he does that Shirley Temple and stirs it up? Little windmill action. So there we go. Yeah, that's about it, man. We got nothing else on the Sixers to talk about, so we made up our trade scenarios. Hopefully we can think of a topic next week to talk about.
Maybe there'll be a little bit of an action. Maybe we'll be talking about a trade.
Yeah, hopefully. That'd be kind of cool. Shit. Just don't do anything stupid, Brian.
Yeah, Colangelo, don't be pulling the trigger and doing anything idiotic just to get fans in the seat. Please don't do that. We've waited too long and built this thing up too much for you to wreck it.
Yeah. All right. To the people that are watching, let us know, if you guys got any trade scenarios. Try to keep it realistic. Don't give up Okafor for, say, I don't know, Marcus Aldridge or something. I don't know. But
or now that Westbrook is unhappy and he wants to be traded, they're going to get rid of him.
No, like John, 2 first-round picks for Russell Westbrook. No, it's not going to happen. So, yeah, keep it realistic. Let us know what you thought of our trades. Maybe you really liked Kyle's Emmanuel Mudiay trade.
Or maybe you hated it completely.
Maybe you hated it completely. Maybe you hated my trades. Maybe you think I'm a fucking idiot. You think I need to shave. So I do need to shave. My cheek fur is horrendous right now. So there we go. All right. For Kyle Gaffner, I'm Adrian Fedke. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. We'll come up with another video. Hopefully another topic next week. Maybe a trade will happen. Who knows? But we're out. Later.
Peace.